the ancient Atlanteans used nuclear energy while their advanced technology had some kind of intelligence. I'm translating from a Greek article for you. The Atlantean tribes and their subordinates inhabited the world of 3 dimensions. 3 dimensions. Now we know about Atlantis, a lot of that comes from Greek writers, ancient Greek writers, but also from the Emerald Tablets written by Thoth the Atlantean. And you'll find the Emerald Tablets playlist in my videos. And he describes their very advanced technology. They had air travel and space travel. They even had time travel. They had stargates and time portals. And they also had interdimensional travel. In other words, they were able to somehow tweak frequencies and go into other dimensions. Now, this article here says they inhabited the world of 3 dimensions. Their tribes went through a time called the Golden Age. In the early stages of its development, Atlantis lived very peacefully without any problems. No wars, battles, expansions, conquerings, etc. And they had the privilege of communicating with gods, since they themselves took on human nature, transmitting to humans the secrets of wisdom in various areas such as life, death, the ultimate purpose of man, as well as the way in which something can be achieved. Now, it looks to me that they could have been Nephilim, these people. They were also giants, let's remember. Now, geographically, it was a continent between America and Europe. The location in the center was called Posidonia and was the capital of Atlantis. Several seasons followed, such as seasons meaning epochs, such as the silver, the bronze, where the descent of the Atlantean tribes has been signaled by the ever-increasing I, that is, their selfishness. They were very haughty and egocentric, and they were also abusing their technology to the point that they were a detriment to human beings and the world itself. Now, it's from what we were reading in the Emerald Tablets, they were even bringing in demonic entities from other dimensions using black magic. And we know about that because there was a 33rd degree Mason, William Schnoblin, who was also a magician, who has become a Christian since that time. He's gone out of that now, but he goes around all of the United States and even internationally speaking about the terrible dangers of working with these interdimensional beings. Now, so this was going on since antiquity, since the Atlanteans. And from what Plato wrote, it's just a matter of time before their demise, because it was the will of God that they were not to be around anymore. Of course, some of them did survive the sinking of Atlantis, which supposedly didn't take place all at once. It was sinking within thousands of years. And from what Thoth the Atlantean writes and informs us of in the Emerald Tablets, and you'll find the videos in my playlist of that. He's also called Hermes Trismegistus. He was supposedly the person who built the Giza pyramids and the Sphinx. And he also says that he has buried his spaceship under a sphinx in a plateau of pyramids. Now, could it be that his spaceship is really under the Giza plateau? Could it be his spaceship is under the Giza Great Sphinx? Who knows? Now, going back to this, yes, they had these tremendously advanced technologies, and they became very haughty, this egocentric haughtiness. And that was the cause of their demise. So they had these catastrophes. it's at this time there were two major catastrophes that caused the disappearance of much of the Atlantic race and the people of Atlantis under the waves of the sea. But some of them, as Thoth tells us, did go to other areas of the world and established other cities with pyramids and high technology. There are those like Manly P. Hall that believes that these UFOs and light orbs that we see, these hyperdimensional and interdimensional craft, could be the Atlanteans, because let's remember they used to live thousands of years, as is written in the Sumerian kings list. They used to live thousands of years. Now, when the Iron Age arrived, however, their technological culture flourished. They made use of nuclear power, and their weapons and machinery were highly sophisticated, with all kinds of intelligence. They also traveled to the moon. They created space inventions and first referred to the ether. Ether, as even the ancient Greeks were aware that all of the universe was full of ether, what we call, for example, electromagnetic forces or something, because space is not empty, it's full of something. And they called it ether, as an energy field surrounding any living organism. It's widely rumored that these Atlantean machines of the ancient Atlanteans can still be operated. They're buried in various parts, they're hidden in various parts of the world, like in caves and underground tunnels, even in the Gobi Desert. Others again claim that they're in the hands of secret groups in the Himalayas. Now, what comes to my mind is this. Alexander the Great, and we made a video on this, had a secret weapon. It was called the lightning rod of Zeus. And it was given to him, somehow it got to his hands. It was an ancient Atlantean machine. It was his secret weapon. And it was, I guess, it was a laser weapon. It was brought to him by the Hyperboreans. Hyperboreans were from the Arctic, and they lived in the area of the white wolves. That's the only place they have white wolves, is in the Arctic. And the Hyperboreans came to him, one of the people came to him to visit him, and he was supposedly an extraterrestrial, and gave him this lightning rod of Zeus. And when he got to the end of China, he did not cross China. He did not cross the sea to go to Japan. He stopped at China. And his generals put up a column with an engraving saying, King Alexander reached this point, and he has buried the secret weapon, the lightning rod of Zeus, so that it will not be found. But there is a copy of it in a Buddhist monastery in Nepal of the Himalayas. And this is a copy of it. The picture before was another copy of it. So this is the actual copy of it in the Nepal Buddhist monastery. Now you're saying, why is it in a Buddhist monastery? Because the Buddhists, I have to do another video on that, how the Buddhists are very well connected to the ancient Greek religions of the time of Alexander the Great. This is, of course, the Abydos hieroglyphs of the crafts that we have today. What were these things doing flying around thousands of years ago over Egypt? So obviously they had flying machines, as we know. Now, okay, so there are supposedly hidden caves, tunnels, underground areas, and they can still be operated. And they others claim that they're in the hands of secret groups in the Himalayas. The final blow to the destruction of the ancient Atlantis people came with the total sinking of Atlantis and the capital, Posidonia. It coincided with the start of the campaign to conquer the countries of the East, such as Greece and Egypt. This is already told to us by Plato, told to him by Solon, told to Solon by an ancient high priest of Egypt, how the Atlanteans were waging war against ancient Greece, ancient Athens, and Egypt. So the Atlanteans tried to find supporters in their work, which they called the Atlantic Alliance. They went up against the East, but the war did not reveal a winner because of their destruction. So those who came out alive headed to other areas, continuing their lives with the natives in the formation of the fifth Aryan tribes. Some of those who were awakened warned of the disaster and fled to other places, including Greece and Egypt. And we know that even Thoth escaped and went to Egypt. He later went to Americas as well, but he first went to Egypt. And he's considered one of the first deities of Egypt. This is Thoth, or Hermes Trismegistus. And he is supposedly the person who built the Giza pyramids and the Sphinx. And he has his spaceship under the Sphinx until he comes back to retrieve it and be in the area again. Now, who knows where he's lingering now, but that is what he tells us in the Emerald Tablets. So those who came out alive headed to other areas, continuing their lives with the natives in other locations of the earth. Some of those who were awakened warned of the disaster and fled to other areas, including Greece and Egypt, as we said. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato also refers to this tragic end of Atlantis in his writings of Timaeus. Descendants of the Atlanteans are said to belong to the red-skinned tribes, Incas, Aztecs, Andean tribes, and Indians as well, because Atlanteans had also gone there, and also even Hermes Trismegistus, or Thoth, had gone to the Americas after he left Egypt. He went to the Americas. Now, could it be that this Thoth was the person that the Hopis talk about, the person that came with wisdom and that came flying in spaceship, the star people that they talk about, who had, of course, long beards? As we know, the American Indians, the Native Americans of North and South America, are not able to grow beards. They're beardless, whereas the Western people have beards. So the Atlanteans have beards. So very fascinating. I've translated this from a Greek article by Diadrastika, and please leave your comments and tell me what you think about this copy of the right here, the copy of the lightning rod of Zeus that an Atlantean had given Alexander the Great. Amazing. And I have to make a video on the connection between Alexander the Great and the ancient Greek philosophies and the Buddhists and the monasteries of Nepal. What connection do they have with ancient Greece and Alexander the Great? Thank you for your support. Please ring the bell for more videos, subscribe, and share. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.